Brad Lonkar, you launched the Cancer Immunotherapy ETF back in October. It's up around 6% since then. So why did you launch this particular ETF? It seems like a rather narrow index.
Sure. So I think most people think of biotech as one thing, and it's not. You know, years ago you thought of technology as one thing, and now you think of its individual components like cybersecurity and telecom equipment. The reality of biotech is the same, so I wanted to focus on what I think is the most interesting and high growth area of biotech, and to me that's cancer immunotherapy. I think that most people are familiar with chemotherapy, which kind of affects the whole body and is very toxic. Well, the immune system is natural, and it can adapt and learn. And so the theory is, if you can harness it to treat a disease like cancer, you might see more powerful and long-lasting responses. And so that's the area that, as a biotech investor, I think is most exciting, and so I wanted to focus on that. And
there are drugs on the market. Bristol Myers has one, Merck has one. How effective have they been so far?
Yeah, so they've been approved in melanoma and in types of lung cancer and most recently in kidney cancer. This is all new, so they're in their launches right now. So it's very early days, but it's been very successful. You might have seen in the news a week ago, President Carter is on one of these drugs. He has melanoma, and he seems to have a very good response to it. And the important thing is, cancer research historically has been very incremental, and the results from these immunotherapy drugs are not incremental. They're big breakthroughs.
And meanwhile, there are also some smaller players, a lot of smaller players out there, and they're represented in your ETF, companies like Kite and Juno. They're awfully volatile, though. So can you talk about the construction of your ETF and what people should think about some of these smaller, volatile players?
Sure. So the way the index is constructed is we have a target of 30 companies. 7 of them are the large pharmaceutical companies that are bringing these drugs to market now. And 23 are what you're describing, your more classically considered biotech companies like Kite and Juno. And the reason those have been volatile is because they're in their very early stages. They're just announcing phase 1 trial results right now. And especially in some types of blood cancers, the results have looked terrific. But I think because you're just dealing with small trials and a small patient population, that makes people nervous. So, you know, good results come out, the stocks go way up, and then maybe people, you know, think twice about it and wonder, you know, what could go wrong next. And so it's been very volatile like that.
Can you talk about pricing for immunotherapy treatments? Because this is already a major campaign issue. Knocked down stocks not too long ago. So talk about the cost of these drugs and whether or not the government's going to get involved and push it lower.
Yeah, so I think that drugs should be priced based on the value that they bring to patients and society. And in this case, these are the companies that are trying to change cancer care for the better. And so if they're able to do that, that's going to deliver a lot of value to patients and the system, not just in this country, but all over the world. And so I think that if they're able to do that, the economics will sort of work out. And I think a big distinction that people are kind of understanding, especially recently, is these negative headlines you've seen in the news are companies that are increasing the prices on old drugs. And so whatever happens politically, I hope the way the conversation will go is that we kind of protect innovation and companies that are trying to develop new medicines, while maybe some of these others that are abusing the system and raising the prices of these older drugs, maybe there's something to do about that. So I think it's important to look at that distinction.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Brad Lonkar.
It's a pleasure.
And thank you for watching The Street.